The Prime Minister of the Netherlands has issued an apology on behalf of his government for the country's role in slavery and the slave trade.
In stand gehouden en ervan geprofiteerd.
Mark Rutte gave a 20-minute speech to a small audience at the National Archive in The Hague. But critics are unhappy with the timing of the announcement. Reporter Rosie Burchard is in Brussels with more on the apology and the concerns.
The room was almost silent as Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte delivered this historic speech about a very dark chapter in Dutch history. He said simply, "Today I apologise." He went on to say that the Dutch state had enabled and stimulated and profited from slavery for centuries. Now, he said that while no single person bears responsibility for that today, he said that the Dutch state does bear responsibility for the immense suffering inflicted on those who were enslaved and their descendants. Now, for some context here, between the 17th century and the 19th century, Dutch merchants did indeed traffic hundreds of thousands of people from Asia and from Africa and enslaved them in the former Dutch colonies in South America and in the Caribbean. And the brutality of that chapter in history was exposed in 2021 when a Dutch government commissioned report was published. And in that report there was also a real note that the legacies of that period in history do live on today, the report said, in the form of structural racism. Now, some campaigners do not agree with the timing of this apology. Particularly campaigners from Suriname wanted to see this apology take place in July 2023, which would mark an important anniversary of emancipation. There were even some that went so far as to criticise the Dutch government for having a sort of colonial attitude and the fact that it pressed ahead with its chosen timing of the announcements, and some campaigners even took the government to court, although that was indeed dismissed. Now, Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte acknowledged those concerns in his speech. He said he knows there is no one right time for everyone, and he also pledged to establish a special fund in the Netherlands to try and tackle the legacy of this most dark chapter in Dutch history. That could, for example, be through awareness-raising campaigns, though no talk here of reparations, which some campaigners would have liked to see. Rosie Burchard, Brussels.